PPC, Ian, is dividend investing for everyone. And I want to make sure that investors, dividend investors here as part of this YouTube community do not get taken advantage of. I want to make absolutely certain that dividend investors here on this channel avoid issues. They avoid big sharks that are out there in the finance space and avoid getting taken advantage of. And it is possible as a dividend investor, as a common stock shareholder, to get taken advantage of. And I want to talk about something that's going on right now with Occidental Petroleum that appears to be history repeating itself. And I want to provide knowledge to the community in real time so that common shareholders out there, they can avoid challenges. They can avoid getting taken advantage of. I'm not positive if the Occidental common shareholders are getting taken advantage of, but it is possible. That's kind of where my knowledge, my research is sending me so far. And I think it's history repeating itself. It's very similar to what I foreshadowed, what I foresaw with Kraft-Heniz. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you guys know that I accurately called Kraft-Heniz. I always liked Kraft-Heniz, but I stayed away from it because of some of the finance stuff happening behind the scenes, because of Warren Buffett's preferred dividend that he paid himself, money that the company otherwise could have used to avoid some of the challenges that they faced, money that otherwise could have been used to build up Kraft-Heinz's portfolio and bolster the company in a time when they are facing challenge. And so certainly I see Kraft-Heniz as a company that their cash got taken away from them as part of a preferred dividend that went to Warren Buffett, and it put the company in a challenging position to go downhill. And what I am concerned right now is the same thing could be happening with Occidental Petroleum. So we're going to talk about that in today's dividend investing video. All right, everyone. So this is going to be a little bit of a disorganized video. I am back from my vacation in Oahu, Hawaii. I am back on the road in my car. This is a busy week because it's funny. When you take a vacation, I love vacation, by the way. It's one of the best investments you can make, in my opinion. But when you take a vacation, my philosophical question is there really a vacation at all? Because what happens is the week before you leave, you have to work harder, and the week when you come back, you have to work harder. So you don't get that week off. You just make up the work outside of it. But I wouldn't change it for the world. We had an amazing vacation. I'll link in the description below. Check out my video. You'll learn all about our vacation in Oahu. Anyways, I want to jump right into this today. Again, this is going to be a bit scattered. I don't have all the facts in front of me, but I've been researching this and I've been calling this. Here's what happened. Chevron, a company I own. In terms of full disclosure, I am long Chevron, ticker symbol CVX. I own Chevron. Chevron made a bid for a company called Anadarko Petroleum, and they made a bid to acquire Anadarko Petroleum. Actually, I've never been a huge fan of Anadarko all these years, but anyways, whatever. I trust the judgment at Chevron, trust that they made a good acquisition target. They made a good decision. And Chevron, obviously, really big company, can stomach the acquisition, can pay for it. They were going to finance the acquisition on the bond market. Easy, go for it, good stuff. Anyways, after that happened, a company called Occidental Petroleum made a counter bid for Anadarko, and they went above Chevron. And Anadarko is a little bit of a smaller company. They don't have the resources that Chevron has. And Occidental said, hey, we wanted to buy Anadarko. We've been thinking about buying Anadarko for a while. I'm surprised Chevron just jumped in to get it. Give us Anadarko a opportunity here. As Occidental, we want to acquire this thing. And so anyways, Occidental doesn't have the kind of resources that Chevron has. So what happens is they partnered with Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett said, hey, I'm going to give you a bunch of money. And in return for this money, I am going to get preferred shares. And these preferred shares are going to pay me a big, hefty 8% dividend, which is higher than the dividend that the common shareholders of Occidental Petroleum received. This is very reminiscent of what happened with Kraft-Heniz. And my understanding as well is they're going to be taking on forms of debt. I'm not an expert in the debt market, but on some of the articles I was reading, my understanding is they're going to be taking on Occidental through Warren Buffett and also other suppliers of capital, they're going to be taking on debt that is on more favorable terms for the bankers. So the bankers, they're really excited if Occidental wins. It seems like Occidental might win. I hope they win at this point, quite frankly, because I don't want Chevron to overpay for the Anadarko assets. And one report I was reading actually is Anadarko is not even doing that well financially in terms of finances for quite some time here. And so I honestly hope Chevron passes at this point. But anyways, what seems to be happening in a nutshell is Occidental is stepping up to the plate. They want to get this Anadarko asset. They're going to pay more than Chevron was offering. They're going to take on a lot of debt, some of it from Warren Buffett, and it's going to be on very favorable terms for the people providing the debt. And Warren Buffett, who is going to take a special 8% preferred dividend, which is higher than what the common shareholders at Occidental get. And the bankers love this. They're going to collect all these kinds of fees. And in a nutshell, my takeaway from today's video is, please, everyone out there who's investing, do not get taken advantage of. As a common stock shareholder, it is possible to be taken advantage of. And I think the Occidental common shareholders here are getting taken advantage of potentially if this debt financing comes through Warren Buffett, through other means. The bankers, the financiers, they're the ones making the money here. And it's so funny. You'd think, hey, Occidental has this pristine balance sheet. Why would the management team do this? I'll tell you, I'm not saying this is the case with Occidental, but just in my experience with business and analyzing companies, it is possible for people at the top of the food chain at companies, including boards of directors, CEOs, C-level officers, to have special packages. They have special packages sometimes when acquisitions are made, or when buyouts happen, or when special events happen. And it just so could be happening here that who knows how the senior officials at Occidental are being compensated. They might be receiving special bonuses for this type of activity. They may be incentivized to have something like this happen. And so sometimes the interests of the management team are not perfectly aligned with the common shareholders. And so as a common shareholder, it is really important to have your eyes wide open, to avoid getting taken advantage of, and not just to trust everyone out there. You don't want to just trust, hey, these well-known investors or these well-known financiers, they come across so nice. They're reported about so favorably in the media. I'm just going to trust them. They have my best interests at heart. Not always. A lot of the time, maybe they do. Look, Warren Buffett, he owns a lot of stocks that I own as well. He is in Apple, for example. In terms of full disclosure, I am long Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. And so another famous one is Coca-Cola. I own Coca-Cola too. In terms of full disclosure, I'm long Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO. So sometimes I believe on those stocks, our interests are pretty well aligned. But if I were a Occidental shareholder here, I would be really concerned, and I don't think as an Occidental shareholder, if hypothetically I was, I don't think my interests would be aligned here with Warren Buffett. I think Warren Buffett is potentially playing another game here because he's getting this preferred dividend. He's playing a different game here. He's financing something, and so his interests may not be aligned with mine. And so the takeaway here is, people are economic animals out there in the stock market, and sometimes as a dividend stock investor, as a long-term investor, it's very important to be careful about who you trust, to observe what's going on. It's a game of chess, to be just very careful what's happening. And I don't want anyone in the PPC-Ian community, we are dividend investors supporting other dividend investors, to face one of these situations where potentially their interests are not in line with the financiers. And sometimes their interests, their well-being is completely against the financiers. The financiers want to do something different that benefits them, that may hurt the common shareholders. I want to open people's eyes here on this YouTube channel just to consider all of the possibilities and to tread with caution out there in the stock market. And so, look, if you look up to Warren Buffett, he's your investing idol. That is cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a famous investor. He knows what he's doing out there. He's made a great name for himself, and he's made a lot of people a lot of money through his Berkshire Hathaway company, his holding company. That being said, I personally, whenever I see Warren Buffett or quite frankly any other large famous investor, people with a lot of money into these kind of deals where things are just happening, large M&A deals, I always tread with caution because I just don't know how it will affect me as a common shareholder. But I know here, if I hypothetically owned Occidental, boy, I would be just treading with caution. And as a Chevron shareholder, in terms of full disclosure, I'm long Chevron, ticker symbol CVX. I'm just kind of happy that hopefully Chevron's just out of the game and this thing goes to Occidental and Buffett, let them deal with it. Great. Happy not to be part of it. And so again, just a quick video today, but I wanted to do this in real time because this is a real-time event. I honestly don't think this event affects too many people on this channel. I know the comments. I follow the comments. I don't see a lot of Occidental shareholders here. That being said, this is a real-time event that just as easily could affect another company. What if it affected, for example, Kimberly-Clark, one of my favorite companies? In terms of full disclosure, I'm long Kimberly-Clark, ticker symbol KMB. What if it affected Kimberly-Clark? I know I invest and I know other folks here in this community own Kimberly-Clark. What if that was happening there? That's why I'm bringing this up, because this is a perfect case study, a perfect scenario to keep our skills sharp, to keep our eyes wide open. And quite frankly, this is why I diversify, because this kind of thing could happen to a stock in my portfolio. And I like to diversify for that very reason. I also like to pick companies oftentimes that are a little bit bigger. That's why my portfolio skews towards larger companies. My number one stock of all time, Johnson & Johnson. In terms of full disclosure, I'm long Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol J&J. That's a really big company. I don't foresee financiers or bankers coming in playing M&A games. Johnson & Johnson's always the company making the acquisitions, and so I'm not really concerned. But with something smaller like Occidental, they don't have the money to buy Anadarko, so they need Buffett's help, and Buffett's going to charge them. He's going to, quite frankly, charge the common shareholders at Occidental a huge price for his help if they want it, and it seems like they all want it. The management team wants it. But again, the interests may not be aligned. So take this case study home. Put in the comments below. I'd be really curious what you think about this situation. Am I just off base here? Am I thinking about it the wrong way? Let me know. If you think about it differently, let me know. If you agree with me, let me know. This is going to be a fun one for discussion because it's kind of controversial, because I just, I don't know if other people are looking at the situation the way I am, kind of as critically as I am. But my eye is always out for the small guy, for the smaller term, smaller monetary value investor, and that's what this community is about. It's about people trying to achieve financial freedom through dividends, and so that's where my heart is. It's not with the bankers. I'm sorry, I've got friends who are bankers, so look, I love you guys too, but my heart really lies with the individual investor. And so one more thing, by the way, as long as I was talking about Johnson & Johnson, people have been asking me, 3M is buying this company that makes like bandages and stuff. I forget the name of the company, but they're asking me, do I like the acquisition? Do I not like the acquisition? More M&A stuff. It's okay. I honestly think Johnson & Johnson should be buying it, not 3M. But in terms of full disclosure, I'm long 3M, ticker symbol MMM. Anyways, I think J&J should be buying it. But in general, I don't really like acquisitions, especially this late in the market cycle, because 3M with their acquisition, Occidental with their Anadarko acquisition, they're paying a hefty price. And honestly, the people winning at this point are the bankers. And they're paying a hefty price because we're late in the market cycle. Companies are overvalued. Companies are trading at pristine valuations. And so it's not the time to be doing acquisitions. But look, I trust 3M. They're doing a fine job. I'm sure it's going to be a value-add acquisition. But in general, in this stage in the market, I don't get really excited about acquisitions, M&A activity, because it's just companies are expensive. So anything you're buying in this market, a company's buying, it's going to be expensive. It's not the right time to buy it. Wait till the market goes down. Buy it at a discount. That's what I like to do. I'm a value investor, and I like the companies I invest in to be value investors as well in terms of their M&A activity. So in terms of full disclosure, I'm not going to relist them. I mentioned the stocks throughout this video that I personally own in my stock portfolio. In terms of a friendly disclaimer, today's video is not investment advice. I'm not a licensed investment advisor. Today's video is just for your fun and entertainment. If you're going to go out and invest in the stock market or anywhere else, please consult a licensed financial advisor first. Literally just sharing my personal journey here on YouTube for fun and entertainment. All right, everyone, just a quick one. Got to start my next leg of the journey on the way home. Gosh, I'm going to be in the car again tomorrow. Like I said, back from vacation. Got to work double this week to catch up, but it is all good. It still is so worth it. Love vacation. I'll see you guys in the next one. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. It means the world to me. I love you guys. See you in the next video. Thug life.